Hello, everybody! In this video, I'm going to go over some of the basic rules for disc golf, some of the terminology used, and how to get started in the world of disc golf. My name is Kevin, and I play disc golf. Some of the terminology that we will be using was covered in my first video, which there'll be a link up here. And some terminology that is specific to the discs themselves, including the difference between a disc and a frisbee, will be in my next video that will be centered around what discs I am currently using. UDisc is the general go-to app and website for finding courses with some info on the type of course to expect. I covered this a little bit in my previous video, and I'll be going into a little bit more detail later on this. The PDGA is the Professional Disc Golf Association. This is the association that makes all of the rules for disc golf events, and even if a tournament is not run by the PDGA, it is very likely that they largely follow PDGA rules. If you want to know the details of all of the PDGA rules or suffer from insomnia, help can be found at the pdga.com/rules. A tee pad is the place where you start each hole. This may or may not be well defined. If it is well defined, it's usually an area of about 4 feet by 8 feet and is marked by wood, gravel, rubber mats, AstroTurf, or some combination of the above. The terms shot and throw are used interchangeably. A putt is a term for any shot from within 20 meters, or 66 feet or closer. A bullseye is a distance within 10 feet of the basket. I should be able to make all of these shots. Circle 1 is a distance inside 10 meters, or 33 feet from the basket. This is where I'm close enough that I feel bad when I whiff from here. Circle 2 is a distance 10 to 20 meters, or 33 to 66 feet from the basket. This is where I'm close enough that I feel bad that I completely missed the basket from here and ended up with the same distance shot from the opposite side of the basket. Out of bounds, or OB, is a designated area where you are not supposed to throw your disc. This can be marked by rope, stakes, or beyond an obvious feature like a river, fence, or wall. In some instances, there will be an obstacle that you have to go around in a certain direction. This is called a mandatory, or a mando for short. A drop zone is a secondary tee area that you play from in some circumstances where your disc goes out of bounds. A throw and catch disc is any disc that is designed to be thrown and caught. These include any traditional frisbees that you have seen before. A mini disc, usually used as a marker, this is a round disc that is 7 to 15 centimeters, or 2.7 to 5.9 inches in diameter, and less than 2 centimeters, or 3/4 of an inch high. It can be made of any material. Technically, it can fly, though usually not well, and is normally highly inaccurate. This coaster that I made is a legal disc for marking. Pro Tour player Andrew Marweed once used a cookie that he took a bite out of after making a crucial birdie putt. Pretty much anything that meets the dimensions is fair game here. Post in the comments what the most memorable mini marker you have seen used is, or post what you think a creative item is that may work for you. A bag is a container for golf discs that you carry on the course with you, including the discs you're playing with. It may also contain some other items such as beverages, snacks, and other disc golf related items. Step 1 in getting started playing disc golf is, if you have never played before and want to see if it's for you, the first step is to have a disc of some sort. The more appropriate of a disc you have, the better you'll do. So, for example, the free promotional disc that you got from Ed's Plumbing and Heating that you throw for Fido for him to chase and catch won't work as well as the frisbee that you bought to play Ultimate with. If you just want to try it out to see if you like the idea of disc golf at all, that's really all that you need. Step 2 is to find a course near you. With the number of disc golf courses approaching 10,000 in the United States, there's likely to be one near you, and most are free to play. I have about 30 courses within a 1 hour drive from my house, and only 4 of those are pay to play. Also, I kind of live in the middle of nowhere, so if you don't, chances are that there are more course options near you. UDisc is the place to go to find a course, either on the website or on the app. If you have options, choose a course that has shorter holes and is less wooded. You don't need to find the highest rated, most challenging course to figure out if you want to get into it or not. Step 3, what to bring. You should bring your discs, water, a snack, and comfortable shoes, and something to carry them in. Plan on as if you're going on a 1 to 2 hour walk in the woods. Dress comfortably and wear shoes that you are comfortable either hiking or running in. The next thing is how to play. First off, you need to find the starting point. UDisc is pretty good at getting you close to either the starting informational kiosk or the first tee in most places, but there may be some occasions where it is not exactly obvious. That's part of what the on-course part of this video series is designed for. Once you find the first tee, the next step is to find the first basket. Usually there will be a T sign to indicate the general direction of where you are supposed to go and the distance. You may or may not be able to see the basket from the tee. The object is to get the disc in the basket in as few throws as possible. To start, your foot cannot be past the end of the tee pad when you release the disc. You must play the next shot from where your disc comes to rest. Your front foot should be on the spot where your previous shot stops when you release the disc for your next shot. There are a couple of ways to do this. If you're playing casually, it's about here, that's close enough is fine, especially for your first few times playing. The goal here is to have fun, not obsess over the details that aren't that big of a concern to start. There are a couple of different options that you have that use a marker of some sort. This involves placing the marker just touching the disc where it lands on a direct line to the basket. Marker option 1 is very informal. Most of the courses that I play are in forests with pine trees or rocky terrain. Pine cones and rocks make for acceptable markers. It's not officially legal, but for an informal round, in the words of the great philosopher Alicia Silverstone, whatever. Marker option 2, slightly less informal, but still technically illegal. As long as you're going to be using a different disc on your next throw, you can flip your disc over in the direction of the basket. Option 3, which is still informal and still technically illegal, if you're throwing a different disc, have your foot on the spot immediately behind where your disc originally landed without moving your original disc. Option 4, the formal and legal method, is to place a mini disc just touching the thrown disc where it lands on a direct line to the basket. Remove your main disc, and your forwardmost foot must be on the spot where your disc was. Though option 4 is technically the only legal way to do it, if you're playing a casual round, either alone or with friends, there are very limited circumstances where this will make any difference at all. For putting, if you're within circle 1, or 10 meters of the basket, you must remain in control of your body, meaning no run-up, no stepping forward, and your front foot must remain your front foot and on the spot where your prior shot landed until the disc has stopped after your shot. On some courses, the circle 1 line, either 10 meters or 33 feet, is marked in some fashion on the course. In this area, white, yellow, or orange plastic tassels placed in the ground are common. What's considered in the basket? A shot is considered to be in the basket to complete the hole if the disc stops either in the basket portion or in the chains of the basket. A throw that hits the pin below the basket or comes to rest on top of the basket is not considered in. The number of throws it takes you to get to this point is your score for that hole. If your disc goes out of bounds, there's 1 penalty stroke added to your total shots for the hole. There are a couple of different options depending on the hole configuration. If nothing else is specified, the point that you play your next shot from is the last inbounds point that the disc passed through on a 1 meter line, or 3 feet, from where it went out of bounds. Sometimes there will be a drop zone where the rules for the hole specify that if your disc goes out of bounds, there will be a drop zone for you to play from rather than play from where it went out of bounds. In most cases, this is set up to still penalize an out-of-bounds throw, but not require the player to throw from the same spot where they threw up from out of bounds originally. If any part of the disc is inbounds, the entire disc is considered inbounds. There only needs to be a tiny sliver of the disc inbounds to not be out of bounds. If you lose a disc, there is a one-stroke penalty. Many times when you lose a disc, it will involve throwing out of bounds, in which case you follow the out of bounds rule appropriate for that throw. Per official PDGA rules, you have 3 minutes from the time that you and your group begin looking for the disc to find it. If the disc is not found within 3 minutes, the player should return to the location of the previous shot and take a penalty stroke, unless it has gone out of bounds, in which case the appropriate OB rule should be followed. Many times you will find yourself on the course or on the property where you're not the only one there. So we'll talk about some course etiquette rules. First off, you should let other faster players play through. You should regularly check to see if there's a person or group behind you, and you should let them pass you at a convenient location, usually at the tee of a hole, so you don't hold them up. In a tournament, the first hole is played in the order of the name on the scorecard. For a casual game with friends, the order for the first hole can be determined with any number of ways. A few options are a random draw, going by youngest or oldest first, alphabetical by the third letter of your last name, or any other number of ways. After the first hole, whoever had the best score on the prior hole goes first, with any ties being ordered by the order on the prior hole. During a hole, after the tee shot, the player furthest from the basket is the next to play. In most cases, disc golfers do not have the right of way on the course. Usually, other people using the park can be where they want. Before throwing, make sure there is no one in your throwing range. If you think you have a chance to hit them, don't throw. If you throw a particularly errant shot that is heading towards someone, yell 4. If it doesn't look like the situation is going to clear up soon, you can skip the hole and come back later. Everyone is there to have fun. Don't ruin the fun of others. If the course is at a school, it may be worth checking out the local athletic schedules of that town to see if the fields might be in use for a school or recreational event prior to going. Remember, have fun, enjoy the scenery, enjoy the wildlife, enjoy being outside. Don't take the game too seriously. Be like the YouTubing werewolf, like and subscribe. Click here to watch my first video and hit the notification bell so you know when my intro video to Disc Golf Discs and what discs I use comes out.